Hello, my friend. Today, I'm going to show you how to write a Java project using Hibernate. Hello, Hibernate. First, we need to introduce the Hibernate-related Jar file to our user library. We also need to add MySQL JDBC jar file to the library. Then, we are going to use MySQL to create a database, Hibernate, a table called cat. We also need to write a Hibernate configure file, hibernate.cfg.xml. Then we need to create an entity class called cat. We are going to map in the entity class cat to the table cat in the Hibernate database. The mapping file is cat.hbm.xml. Finally, we are going to write a test class, CatTest. Okay, let's start it. Create a Java project. Right-click, New, Java project. Project name, Hello, Hibernate. Then we need to add a Hibernate jar file. Right-click, Build Path, Add Library, User Library, Next. User Libraries, New, Hibernate. OK. Add external jar. Hibernate 4.2. Library required. You choose all of them. OK. Finish. We see all Hibernate related jar file. We also need to add a MySQL jar file. Right click, build path, add external archive. You found your MySQL connector jar file. Here we go. Now we are ready to go. Let's create our database. Open your MySQL command line. Login. Create database Hibernate. Also, we need to use create our table cat. Okay, now we have database and our table cat. In order to connect our Java project to the database, we need to write the Hibernate configuration file. To do that, I'm going to introduce you the Hibernate reference menu, which you can find in their documentation folder. In this menu, the part 1, the first Hibernate application, you can find Hibernate configuration. In this section, they provide a configuration file. We're going to use this example as a template. You can copy the whole file. Okay, in the Eclipse, you right-click the source folder, New, File, hibernate.cfg.xml. let's write our own configuration file. The file structure is simple: Hibernate configuration, session, factory, and properties. We do not need all these properties right now. We can delete some of them. It's okay. Okay, the first section is most important. For database connection setting, we can see there's connection driver class, URL, username, and password. The value going to be the same as we use GDBC. Okay, this is the setting for MySQL. Driver class, URL, my username, root, the password root. Okay. Next is SQL dialect. We are using the MySQL, so we also need to find a dialect value for MySQL. We are going to use their reference menu. In the reference menu, you search MySQL. You're going to find MySQL Hibernate SQL dialects. So that's for you copy the value, put in here. The next property, show SQL. You run the project, the console, you're going to see the SQL statement. Okay, for the configuration, let's leave it right now. It's time to create our entity class. Before we do that, I want to set up some packages. New package. Can you help Hibernate? Okay, new class cat, finish. Okay, let's write our cat class. We also need to generate the getter and the setter. Okay, this is our cat class. Now we need to map in our cat class to our cat table. We need to write a mapping file. Right click, new file, cat. Okay, for the mapping file, our reference menu also provide a template. In the menu, there is a mapping file. We copy this template. Okay, now we write our mapping file. Package. Okay, this is our mapping configuration. See properties such as or columns in the table cat. Now we are ready to write the test class. Right click, new class. Cat test. Okay, before we start write our test class, we need a helper class. We can find this help class in our menu. Okay, you found the section Startup and Helper. This is a helper class, Hibernate util. Actually, I'm going to write our own helper class. Right click, class, Hibernate. Okay, this is our helper class, Hibernate util. Basically, it is going to based on our Hibernate configuration file, return a session factory. Okay, in the configuration file, you see there is a session factory. There is database connection setting. So we can get a connection with our database. Actually, it also going to read our mapping file. So we also need to change the mapping path. Okay, now we have all this information for the help class to get the connection and read a mapping file. Okay, now let's start to write our test class. Okay, here's our test class. We have a new cat and set the properties. With the helper class Hibernate util, we get a session factory, and we can also get a session. Using session, we can save our new cat to the database. Okay, let's have a test. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, it seems we already add our new cat to our database. Now let's check our database. Here you go. We see there's new record in our database, the cat table. That's good. We are successfully adding data to our database using Hibernate. Today, I showed you how to write a Java project using Hibernate, how to introduce Hibernate MySQL Java file to your project, how to write a Hibernate configure file and a mapping file, how to write a test class. Thank you for watching and see you next time.